one of you. We will begin further with the chapter in geography, minerals and power resources. Are all eyes here? Now, last time we finished off till the 7 continents and we talked about the various contents, the mineral proportions in each area. Clear till here? Now, today we will move on to distribution of minerals in India. That means our country, about which we should know. Clear? Minerals are unevenly distributed in India. Maximum concentration of minerals is found in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Please underline that. Chota Nagpur Plateau and areas surrounded by it. It is considered as the storehouse of minerals in India. What is considered as storehouse in India? The Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay. Peninsular Plateau is rich in metallic minerals. Jharkhand ranks high in terms of availability of minerals. So you see basically the Chota Nagpur region and the areas surrounding it are the ones which are rich in mineral deposits. Let me tell you where Chota Nagpur Plateau is. Chota Nagpur Plateau is here. Okay? This area. All the subordinating areas are next to it. Yeah, so this is the area where you have Chota Nagpur Plateau. Yeah, this is the next region. This is the peninsular region. This is the northern plains. You all know that. Okay. So you see that there are very less deposits in the northern plains. You can see it and make it out, right? Now, but northern plains are devoid of any economic minerals. Minerals are mainly found in the following 5 belts. So there are 5 demarcation of belts which we will study about. In India, there are 5 regions basically which are rich in minerals, and that is why we are calling them belts. Huge mineral deposits are found in those 5 belts. Clear? The first one is Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal. The places are here, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, this here. So this region they are talking of. Clear? This region. All of this region they're talking of. That's in this belt. Now underline mica, ilmenite, asbestos, chromite, bauxite, phosphate, manganese, copper, iron, and limestone are mainly found. So these are rich in these kind of minerals. You are supposed to name and know them. Clear? Telling you 93% of 84% of coal and 70% of mica, 45% of asbestos, 10% of manganese of India is found in this belt. That means out of 100, 93% iron is found here. So you can mark Jharkhand as the iron producing state, right? So if I ask mark any place in India on a map or a physical map of India where iron is found, the first place you can mark is Jharkhand, Odisha, second place, third place, West Bengal. Yeah, because 93% is found in this region in this belt. So in the exam, if a map was given to you, please kahin side mein likh lo ki for iron ore, these are the 3 places which you can definitely mark. Yeah. Next, Madhya Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra. Let me first the places. Madhya Pradesh right in the center, Andhra below it, Maharashtra was different. You remember my Bombay there. So now we are talking of this region. Did you get it? Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's talk of this. Most of the manganese, underlying bauxite, limestone, and coal of India are available in this belt. Mica, raw iron, copper, and graphite are also found in this belt. So in the above one also, there was a coal deposit of 4%. So you can also mark it for coal. Then for iron, bauxite, copper, you can manganese and coal. You can mark Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra. Since they have not given you the percentage, you need to know it. Clear? Then we come on to Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Here we find gold, iron, chromite, and manganese. Lignite coal, mica, manganese, bauxite, gypsum are mainly found in Tamil Nadu. You need to remember these places and the deposits. Clear? Number 4, the fourth belt, Rajasthan Gujarat belt. In Rajasthan, copper, zinc, lead, mica, asbestos, clay, salt, clay, marble, etc. are found, whereas in Gujarat, petroleum, gypsum, copper, manganese, salt, and bauxite are the important metals. Clear? Kerala, minerals are found. Please, this place, Kerala, is very important for atomic energy and the nuclear energy. Okay. Minerals which are found here are limonite, zircon, monazite. They are found in coastal regions of Kerala. Apart from the above mentioned regions, minerals are also found in northeastern Assam, the eastern side, where petroleum and lignite reserves are found. Underline petroleum and lignite. If any place comes, mark a place where petroleum deposits are found in abundance. You can always mention this, Assam. Okay. Now we come on to the Himalayan region. This region is rich in coal, bauxite, copper, and precious stones. You underline those. India is rich in the minerals of economic value such as coal, iron, mica, manganese, gold, ilmenite, bauxite, and building material. But it is deficient in the minerals which are industrially important, like zinc, tin, lead, copper, sulfur, nickel, graphite, cobalt, mercury, and petroleum. Now, this paragraph holds importance. They are telling you India is rich in minerals of economic value. Underline economic value. That means India has certain minerals which are giving India a nice return when it comes to value of those minerals. But at the same time, there are certain which are needed for building an industry, which are very important industrial minerals. Those it is missing. For any industry, say a plastic industry, say a maybe a big huge industry with any particular project, to make that, the following minerals which are mentioned in the list, they are missing. So India has to take that money, India has to export it to itself and in return give the money and take those minerals. Yeah. So make sure the economic value minerals, they are there and the names of them you have to remember. And then there are certain minerals which are industrially important, which are in deficit, which are in lesser quantity. So India relies on other countries to get them. Clear? Moving further, conservation of minerals. Conservation means saving. You must have heard this term when it comes to animals, conservation of wildlife. You must have heard it. So it is just saving the minerals before they vanish from earth. This is what they are telling you, conservation of minerals. Minerals are non-renewable once they are finished. Non-renewable means they cannot be regenerated because man has no play in the formation of minerals. Minerals appear naturally on Earth's soil. No man-made mineral. Man can make alloys. He can mix up this mineral and that mineral and make an alloy and make certain things out of it. But he cannot make a mineral. Okay? So once they are finished forever. We can't produce them by any chemical or mechanical method. They are the backbone of industrial economy of a country. They take thousands and millions of years to form. The rate of formation is much smaller than the rate of consumption of these minerals. Now the problem is the rate in which these minerals are being formed inside the earth is slower than the amount of we people consuming that mineral. We are consuming, using those minerals more than the quantity which is produced. So a time will come then they will be deficient, when they will be no longer present for us to use any further. Clear? Therefore, minerals should be used in judicious and sustainable manner. Obviously, we should be very judiciously using them, not wasting them. By adopting the following methods, we can conserve mineral resources. Now let's see what the ways are. Number one, to reduce wastage during mining by adopting improved, appropriate technology. So while you are mining, while you are digging out a mineral, you have to be extra precaution. You take extra precautions so that you are not losing out on those minerals. Clear? They're not getting wasted. Number two, recycling of metals. Now, whatever is being used, once it turns out worn out, once it is worn out, it should be reused. Clear? By reheating and reshaping those minerals, they should be reused. Then the third one, scrap metal should be used in industries. That means scrap metals means not the original ones, but maybe the outskirts, the remains could be used. Ashes, remains could be used. The scrap material, the unused material should be also used in the industries. Yeah, so that unused small chips, etc., which get wasted, could be used by putting together. Clear till here? Next, power or energy resources. Now we're talking of energy resources, the various sources which are giving energy to the working of our country. Let's see. Energy resources play a vital role in the human life. Energy is required in every field of life. It is required to run machines in industry, in agriculture, in households, and for domestic use. We need energy resource to make our life easy and comfortable. Power resources may be categorized as conventional sources and non-conventional. Now, there are two power sources from where we get the ultimate energy. One is the conventional, the other is non-conventional. Now, conventional means age-old things, the remains which have been used, like the use of iron. We have been using it since ages, like the use of copper. We have been using it since ages. These were the few metals which were discovered in the prehistoric times. Yeah, and ever since then we have been using it. So those are called the conventional. They are very old, they are very useful, and we have been using it. Then we talk of non-conventional. Non-conventional are the ones which are replenishable. That means they do not exhaust, like the sun. It's not that one day you will not have a sun and you will be without a sun on this planet. No, if that will be the case, you will also not be there. I will also not be there. Clear? Wind, water. Now these are the non-conventional ways. Okay, that means they are easily approachable for you. Each day you can use them. Now, how to put these non-conventional power resources into our use? It is through the man-made technology which we have over the years brandished and worked on. Yeah, like if you have ever heard about the solar panels, now that is the latest way of using solar energy, trapping it and using it instead of our these electricity wires which we use and the electricity running. Yeah. So that is a non-renew. I mean that is a non-conventional source of energy. Clear? Now, before we move on further, let us just quickly read what I have explained. Conventional sources are those sources of energy which we are using for a long period of time and which have been common and non-renewable, such as firewood and fossil fuels. So we have been using it since ages and they are non-renewable. That means once they are lost, you won't get it. Once the cutting down of trees, if you finish that cutting down all the trees and using that for energy, for fuel, burning it, a time might come and there will be no, because a tree takes nearly 5 years to grow. And if you cut down 10 trees here in this region, so you, for 5 years, you will be devoid of it. Forget it if you don't plant it, replant it, right? So that's the thing. If 10 people start cutting 10 trees, that means for 5 years, those 10 people are without the trees. This is the smallest example I'm giving you. Yeah. Now, fossil fuels such as coal, petroleum, and natural gas are the main sources of conventional energy. These are called fossil fuels as their formation takes place after decaying of plants and animals which got buried under the earth for millions of years and converted into fuels due to great heat and pressure exerted over them. Before we move on further, we need to know the concept. What is fossil? Fuel to bhi chhod do. What is fossil? It is the remains, the dead remains of plants and animals. Not only on ground, but also under the sea, under the water bodies. The aquatic plants and animals which die also decay. Now, when these dead animals and plants, they decay, they get buried under the layer of the earth, top more layers come over, and here comes the decaying process which turns these dead animals into fossil fuels. That means the petroleum, the natural gas that we get is actually the dead essence of once a living plant or an animal. Okay, so once you say I'm a non-vegetarian, know it, you are just eating it. Those who are saying I am a vegetarian, know it, every walk of life you are depending on the decayed process of the dead plants and animals. Why? Because the earth is a process of life and death. Yeah. So the dead remains of plants and animals, they get buried inside the deep depth of the earth, and here the decaying process turns them into a fossil fuel. Clear? Moving further, firewood. Firewood is the most important source of energy in rural India. More than 50% energy requirement is fulfilled by firewood in the villages of India. But the collection of firewood is time consuming. It also creates pollution as well as promotes greenhouse effect due to deforestation. So firewood is basically the lakdi जो हम fire को जलाने के लिए use करते हैं. Most of the rural villages still they are dependent on this source of energy. Plus, the cutting down of trees is making the place getting deforestation. The causes deforestation when you cut down the trees. That means soil erosion. That means depletion of soil, making the soil barren. So all these processes are interconnected and it is causing great havoc to the earth. Clear? Next we talk of coal. Coal is the most important, most widely found fossil fuel in India as well as in the world. It is mainly used in iron and steel industry, in blasting furnaces, as a domestic fuel and to generate electricity. Its formation took place due to the buried plants on the basis of degree of heat and compression over these plants. Different varieties of coal have been found such as peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Among them, peat is the lowest quality and anthracite is of good quality of coal. Although it is a widely found fossil fuel, is efficient to produce thermal electricity, it adds to pollution when it burns and it is bulky to transport. Now in this whole paragraph, they've told you the formation of coal. They've talked about the advantage and disadvantage. How? Let us just quickly know it. Coal is also a fossil fuel, which is again found with the process of decay of plants and animals which were once alive. Now, because of the heat and compression it goes through and inside the earth, it turns into a coal. Now, for that matter, have you seen a green leafy plant? And if you उसको गीला करके और उसको किसी चीज में रख दो, मतलब let it rot, you see that it start turning black, काला सा हो जाती है वो लीफ, अजीब गंदी सी लिच है ना. If you keep it down, buried under the earth, the process you will not be able to see, but this is what happens when clusters of leaves or dead plants are buried inside. They first turn black, and the color of coal is black. Now, the compression, the heat pressure, the normal pressure of the earth compresses them, tears them, and makes them into coal. Now, the amount of pressure and heat could be different in different areas. So that makes a difference in the variety of coal that we get. Clear? Now, the lowest quality of coal is the peat coal. Okay? That is of a very poor quality and it's the cheapest. The one which you use for ironing your clothes. If you give it to the person who irons the clothes, have you seen the iron they use? They put coal inside. That is the cheapest quality of coal. But if you, the ones which are used in the blast furnace, now what is the blast furnace? Where the big, huge iron and steel industries are there, they need a huge amount of coal to lighten up so that they could melt the iron and give it a shape. That is called a blast furnace. It's a huge place, a huge blast furnace. It's a kind of a furnace where a lot of heat is produced because of the burning of the coal so that they could melt and cast. If the iron gets into a molten state, that it could be flown and given a shape. Got it? So that in those places, in those industries, coal is used. Yeah. So now they are telling you about the four variety of coal. Please underline them: peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Now out of this, peat is the cheapest and anthracite is the best quality coal. Koila, the coal is koila. Okay. Please underline them and you should know them. And while I'm telling you like a story, I'm trying to teach geography. Though I know कि geography में आपको learn करना ही होता है. Still I'm trying to be slow so that it gets into your head. अब कुछ भी हो जाए आप ये नहीं भूलोगे कि हाँ मैम ने कुछ तो बताया था. पीट जो है ना poor quality coal है. याद हो गया ना. Anthracite good quality coal. याद हो गया ना. Fossil fuel अच्छा मैम ने बताया था dead remains of plants and animals. I'm trying to highlight though it is to be learned. So ध्यान देना and my folks there also. I'm doing this extra effort for you all. I know आप लोगों ने अभी तक कैसे पढ़ी है geography. मुझसे कुछ छुपा नहीं है. I don't say much, but then you have to. आपकी भी गलती है. It's not that कि मैं बड़ा अच्छा पढ़ाऊंगी या आप बड़ा अच्छा पढ़ोगे. It's mutual. You have to take pains if you need to know things. ठीक है? चलो. Backbones is still straight. Let's move on. Although it is a widely found fossil fuel. Yes, the disadvantage they have told you, though it is a very widely found fossil fuel, but still it produces lot of pollution while generating thermal electricity. जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस हो रही है उसमें जो कोल बर्न हो रहा है, that is also polluting, and the transportation of coal is also very tedious process. It amounts a lot of time and energy, and it's of high cost. Clear? Then carrying bulk of coal is also a tedious process. It's very bulky. Bulky means heavy. Clear? So these are the certain disadvantages. Now underline the places. China, USA, Germany, Russia, South Africa, and France are the leading producers of coal. You need to know the leading. Okay. In India, now let's know about India also. Please underline Jharkhand. I told you for coal also, for not just iron, also Jharkhand. Jharkhand is the main producer of coal, where it is mined from Raniganj. Now, Jharkhand is a state. The place where, particularly in that state, the coal is mined is Jharkhand. Oh, sorry, is Raniganj. Okay? Jharia and Bokaro. These are the three places where coal is mined. Please remember this, because in India, we need to know about India. Next heading is petroleum. We are aware about the importance of petroleum in today's world. It is widely used in industrial machinery, factories, aeroplanes, trains, cars, and other means of transport. I need not even read this. आपको पता है कि कोई भी vehicle for any kind of transportation, we need this particular mineral for our lifesaver, as our lifesaver, and that is petroleum. For any kind of transportation, we need it. Now don't tell me that man cycle doesn't need it. तो साइकिल से आप कोई बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं कर लोगे. स्कूल से घर से स्कूल, स्कूल से घर ही आप कोई इंडस्ट्री तक नहीं पहुंचोगे. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll come back and we'll continue with petroleum. I hope my online class children have understood. Send me a thumb up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.